Live. Everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Robbie Craig, the Flip Flop Flipper. It's Monday Night Live. We're going to get back in the habit of this, guys, so you can put it down in your calendars that around 5 p.m. Eastern time every Monday, we'll try and do a live on YouTube, and we'll have some exciting conversations going. We'll have guests inside of the studio. Today, we're going to have McKenna join us in just a second. He's working on uploading this he's working on his connection so that we can see and hear him. And I think today we'll just do a question and answer. We'll talk about anything that you guys want to talk about. So bring your questions and I will do my best to answer them. And as a reminder, guys, we are about to launch the Apex Mastermind. And so this is something that I'm really excited about, where we will do a true Napoleon Hill style mastermind group. It takes a commitment, so it's not for everybody. You know, we got close to 10,000 people who watch the YouTube stuff, and we're going to try to put together a small group that can live into the life and business model for everybody so that we can have a absolutely true mastermind, collective knowledge, sharing ideas, sharing databases. So if you're interested in joining us in Apex Mastermind, it does take a commitment. There is some cost to it, but there's a form that you can grab inside of the link in the description of any of our videos that are out there right now. And in this YouTube, we'll put it in the chat. So go ahead and click on that link, fill out a questionnaire, and we'll set up a Zoom call and we'll make sure that we're a good fit for each other. We're launching in mid-June, the Apex Mastermind, something, again, we're extremely excited about. So is McKenna coming in? McKenna, my son, my boy here, he is a real estate investor. He's in Florida, investing in real estate all over Florida. In fact, we own some stuff in the Tampa area, some stuff in the Orlando area, and McKenna has been crushing it for the last couple of years. He's got his own company. He's doing stuff on his own, and I've kind of latched on to doing deals with him because, I want to be in business with my son, and I'm proud of what he's doing. Uh-oh, what's happening there? Hey, McKenna, can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
All right. Well, welcome to the Monday Night Live. Say hi to everybody. I was introducing you a bit, but you can introduce yourself too.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. And like you said, we've been doing a lot of deals together. Everything I've learned, I grew up doing it, learning it from you. So it's really just a proof that the channel works. Everything that you're teaching here is what I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, and we're doing what we say too, right? Like, so the whole YouTube channel is about taking a look at what we do and why we do it and kind of putting it out there to the world and letting people see what we do. It's not that I have the greatest way and that this is the only way that you can be a successful real estate investor. There's hundreds of ways that people can be successful, but we do show our projects, we show our deals, and we tell people why we think the way we think and just put it out there. And I think people have been enjoying it. The channel's growing pretty quick. I was, before you got on, mentioning that we're going to launch the Apex Mastermind, which you're a big part of. And so when we set up these calls, McKenna will actually call you guys, do a Zoom, and make sure that we're a good fit. And we're launching again mid-June. So McKenna, you want to talk a little bit about how that's come to be and what our plans are?
Well, yeah, first thing I'll say is we're filling up quick. The application will be down below in the description, and my schedule this week for interviews is pretty much full, but I can fit you in Wednesday and Thursday, and, you know, on some certain times. So if you're interested in that, make sure you fill out the application. I'll reach out to you and we'll set up a time on Zoom to, you know, really dig into the mastermind, tell you the logistics behind it, what we're aiming to do. Yeah. And speaking of that, what we're aiming to do is we're trying to form a group, you know, 10 to 15 guys that are working together, that are serious about doing business. We're looking for people that have already done real estate before, that have businesses, that we're not trying to teach them this is how you find a house, this is how you find financing. We're trying to, as a group, expand our businesses. We're trying to meet every other week and get together and say, this is a problem that I'm facing right now with this project, with this hotel project, with this single family home project, whatever it is. and then as a group work through that, and hopefully we're all learning. And ideally, we'd like to do deals together too, where we'd like people in the group to bring us what you have. If you find a deal in New York that works for the group, or if there's a deal in Puerto Rico, we want to do it with you, and we want this group to do it together. So that's really the end goal of this group, is to get deals done.
Yeah, I couldn't have said that better myself. If anything that I would think going into the mastermind group, without putting a whole bunch of expectations on what will happen inside of the group, the way that I think we will define success is how much can we do together, versus what we were doing apart. Everybody is going to come into the group and bring their own set of skills, their own different business models and ideas, and we're gonna do a true Napoleon Hill style mastermind group where hopefully the collective knowledge is far superior to anyone's individual knowledge. And like McKenna said, we're going to judge our success, or we're going to judge our success of this group by what kind of deals do we do together? Do we start businesses together? Do we buy real estate together? Do we go to each other's businesses? And if somebody comes in and they're a contractor and they're doing contractor work in an area where I've got an investment opportunity, I'm going to use them as the contractor. That kind of thing is what I expect to have happen through this group.
Yeah. And we can already see success where from these meetings, I think that we have a group, a couple that are going to come in on a deal with us. They're going to be in the mastermind, hopefully. And, they got connected just from filling out that application and having to sit down with me. So it's exciting that just from that connection, we're able to start doing business with people. And no, go ahead.
No, and I would say that even our whole YouTube channel, the last few years of putting this content out, has all been in an effort so that we can expand our business through partnerships. So guys, we have a real true belief in our heart that we can do more together than we can separately. And we've been expanding our business for the last few years by finding other dynamic entrepreneurs who wanted to partner with us, where we had some like-minded goals, and we get together, and again, we do more together than we can apart. So as real estate investors, one of the things that I like to look for in an area where I'm investing is to see if there's someone else who's also investing in the area. And also, for instance, McKenna and I have a house in Winter Park, Florida. And if we were the only people who were buying distressed housing in this neighborhood and fixing it up, in this case for the purpose of resale, that would probably be an indicator that maybe we don't want to go into that area. What we want to see is that other people are also doing the same thing. And so neighborhoods are becoming lifted up and getting better. And that has been a true way that we can identify if we're going to be successful or not, right? That's for sure been something that I've seen over the last 25 years, is that you can't do everything yourself. So if there are people investing in and alongside you or in the same neighborhood as you, that's a good thing.
Yep. And I have some exciting news on that one, Dad. The house 2 doors down just sold at the start of the month for $510,000.
What?
So we were estimating that we were going to sell our house for $450, maybe $475. And the one 2 doors down from us, it's a little bit bigger, but it doesn't have a pool, just sold for $510. So it's pretty exciting. And I think that deal's been on the channel. I'm not sure if your viewers have seen it, but we went in and it was a hoarder house, gutted the whole thing, renovated it all. It looks really good. I can send some photos if we're able to put that on the screen. I'm not sure, but
yeah, send the photos. Should he send them to you, Don? Just send them in the chat and we'll pop them up.
All right, I'll see what I can get. But anyways, it's pretty exciting that the one 2 doors down just sold for $510.
Oh, he's saying send them to the chat with you and Adon and me.
In the studio app, okay. I'll see
regular chat.
The regular chat, okay.
Regular text messages.
Can do.
Adon is shy, guys. He won't get on the camera, and then he likes to sit there and make me lip read. And I struggle. He's very, very shy. He's very shy. So the camera doesn't fit. Yeah, but you can talk.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't love
He's
being
got
on
a
the.
face made for radio anyway, so we'll keep the camera on me. That's fine. Actually, he's way better looking than me.
I'll tell you, I don't love being on camera either. I've been reluctant on the YouTube side, but I'm glad to be here. Glad to talk about this mastermind with everybody.
I have questions. So I know you've been traveling with your dad all your life to go see real estate and stuff like that, but what was your first real estate deal? And did you do it by yourself, or did you do it with your dad, or did you do it with partners?
My first deal, and I'm getting this photo link over to you. That's why you can't see me on the screen here. My first one on my own, well, it was with my family. It was with my dad, but it was a foreclosure up in Tallahassee. I went to FSU, go Knowles. And while I was up there, I needed a little bit of spending money. So I'm like, how do I make some money? And the only thing my whole life that I've ever seen that works is buying foreclosure properties. So I got with him, and we the way it works is you get the list of properties that are going to auction that month, and you just go see every single one. So I spent a month driving around Tallahassee and probably looked at 100 properties, and I had a price that I went over with my dad of, hey, I think this is what we can pay. This is what it's worth. And I did that for every single house that went out. And then our first auction that we did up there, I put in our bids, and one of them landed. So it was
I forgot that we bought that house at the foreclosure sale. So we actually went to the foreclosure sale and bought. That's the big red barn, right? Like it was a kind of a barn looking house. Yeah.
So it was long. We did not do much work to that one. We cleaned it out. It was pretty messy inside, and then I think we did a paint job on the outside. We changed it from red to white, maybe, and
Yeah.
I fixed some repairs. There was a water leak that I had fixed and an electrical issue I had fixed, but I only paid those handymen, I think, $5,000 for repairs. So it was not a ton of work at all. And we didn't end up making a ton, but I want to say we profited $30,000 total, and then the money got half of that, and then me and you split that up. But we did it in, I want to say, 3 months from buying the house to selling it. I learned a lot. That was my first, negotiation with somebody, and let me tell you, you learn a lot when you're negotiating with people for hundreds of thousands of dollars. It really brings up the stakes, and every dollar counts, and you really learn that through that process. And so
I remember that
cool.
deal that you pretty much did that deal on your own. We talked about what it would be worth and what we should pay for it at the sale.
Yep.
And did we do that with Dave McCallie? Was he our money guy, or was it Garrett Smoke?
I'm trying to remember who it was. It's hard to say.
But one of our main guys, right?
Yep.
Put up the money, and so we did that, and then you took care of the renovation. And I remember talking to you when you were negotiating the deal with the guy who ended up buying it.
Yep.
And you would call and ask me some questions, and then we would game plan, and you ended up putting it together. You did that as a freshman in college, right?
Yeah, I was 18 when I did that. Maybe 19. I would have been 19 by then, because it was the spring semester.
And I remember after it was done, you were like, all right, we're gonna do a bunch of these. And then you joined the circus, and we never did another one while you were in college.
No. And as a college student, I made $10,000. My rent back then was $250 a month. So
Yeah.
I was like, I am rich. And for the rest of college, I basically lived off that money and some scholarships. And but man, I could have been doing more. I definitely had the time, but the circus did fill up my schedule a lot.
Yeah, I remember also during that time calling you up from Puerto Rico and saying, hey, you need to drop out of school, son, and get yourself to Puerto Rico. There's some really great things going on in real estate here. And you were like, oh man, it sounds great, Dad, but I think I'm going to stay in the circus.
Yeah. I was not there for school. I would have dropped out if it wasn't for the circus.
So how good of a conversation is that, you guys, in the chat? What do you think? A father telling his son to drop out of school, and then his son's response is, "No, I'm going to stay in school so I can stay in the circus." That's an interesting conversation that probably only you and I have ever had, right? Like,
I think so. And if you guys are curious about the circus, it's the FSU Flying High Circus. Go ahead and give it a look up. It's a pretty spectacular organization and very fun. So definitely recommend looking it up. We just had a tornado come through Tallahassee, and the circus tent was completely destroyed. So
Oh,
if
no.
I know, if you're looking for a good cause to donate to, they're doing a rebuilding effort, and they're insured, so I think they'll be fine. But it is crazy to look at the photos of the tent where I spent, hundreds of hours there, and it's completely destroyed.
I don't want to harp on the circus too much, but I will say this, that I say all the time on this YouTube channel that anyone can become a real estate investor, and that it's really not about how you grew up or the special skill set that you have. And I want to apply that to the circus, because you
Sure.
called up one day and said, I'm going to join the circus. And we are like, well, what skills do you have? And you're like, I don't know if I have any skills at all, but they're going to put me on roller skates. And man, by God, by the end of a couple of years there, you were really pretty awesome.
Yeah, they all I had going in was that I was tall and big.
I can lift some shit, and I'm,
yep,
that's it.
And I'm tall. That's it. And they taught me everything else I could do.
And just to brag on my son a little bit, he did several events, but probably his biggest and best was he was on roller skates spinning a little girl around his body. It was damn impressive. I'm going to be honest.
It is pretty cool.
I remember that first time we went to see you, and you were doing great, and then you dropped the little girl.
Oh yeah,
and then
she wouldn't talk to me for a week.
I remember she was mad at you after that.
Yeah, I think we just got a comment from a plastic surgeon. Robert, you own so much real estate in Florida and Puerto Rico. You've got a family, you've got a network, you've got a business relationships. How do you organize your schedule to make it all work?
Oh, who was the comment from? That's Dr. Jeff. Hey, Jeff.
Dr. Jeff. There you go.
Yeah. So Jeff knows. Jeff, I get up early and I work late. And we've got a small team, but it's a really, really good team that takes a lot off of my plate. So I set up lots of opportunities for people on the team to be able to come in and do their thing with them, to the point that probably most of the people on my team will tell you that I work everybody too hard, that I do too much, but I'm a bit of a deal junkie and absolutely love doing it. So I jump out of bed in the morning, and I'm more than willing and able to go till late at night, at least 6 days a week. And so if you put in half days, 12-hour days, 6 days a week for a long time, you figure out how to get a lot done in a day. And when you love doing what you do, you're able to do that kind of thing. So that's what we do. And Jeff, I know you and I are going to do some stuff together. And just for you guys who are watching the YouTube channel, Jeff is now on the island of Puerto Rico, and he's about to close on his first deal. Nice. So it's a pretty cool deal he's got. He's gonna do an Act 60 tourism play. I hope, Jeff, that's okay for me to say, but it's in a great thriving area where there's lots of people investing. So he's not the first, and he's not the only one who's lifting up this area. But it's gonna be a fun project to watch. And eventually we'll get it on the YouTube channel. We'll meet over there and interview Jeff and let him show us what he's going to do. And McKenna, he's trying to do this so that he can partner with his daughter and have a little family business as well. So it's been fun to get to know him.
It sounds like a good guy. I'll have to, Jeff, I'm going to be on the island in 2 weeks, I think, for what is that conference called, Dad, that you're speaking at?
I have no idea. We'll find out.
Well, there's a conference that you're speaking at, and I'm coming down to help film some content. So maybe we can meet up and check out some projects, see what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. And Jeff, I don't know if you'll be on the island around the first week of June, but if you're here, we'll go get a coffee.
Yeah.
Creative Investors Conference.
It's the Creative Investors Conference, and the headliner is Jerry Norton. And there's a bunch of other really great guys. I know, we have JC Morales is going to be speaking there, and Pedro Cardona is going to be speaking there. And I kind of asked my way into it and just said, hey, do you guys got any room for me? You want to put me on a panel or something? So honestly, I don't know much about it, but I think it's going to be a great event, and I'm going to be glad to be there. So
Yeah, that's another big thing about real estate investing, about life. You can't get a yes if you don't ask. Um, that was a big thing for me in college, and something that I've talked a lot about with my friends. But to do anything, you have to ask. You have to go out there and you got to tell someone what you want to do, and you got to ask them to help you. And people like to say yes. I mean, if you want to speak at a conference, obviously you need the audience, you need the criteria, the resume. But if you hadn't have asked, you wouldn't be speaking. And that's how everything starts. If you want to buy a house, you need to ask, how am I doing it? Where can I find the resources? Who can help me? And people will help you. They'll say yes. They want you to succeed. I think we're both big believers of that, where
yeah,
everything in life is possible if you ask, and you might get 100 no's, but you only need one yes to make it happen.
I like to say it like this. It's, when I'm thinking about doing something, I'm often asking my question, how could I do this? How can I do that? How can I afford this? How could I possibly get invited to come and speak at a conference? Or how can I is often the start of anything that I'm doing. Is I start to think about whatever it is that there's a challenge, is how could I get that done? And by asking even myself that question, then it allows me to find the answers. And you'd be amazed, guys, at the answers you'll get when you start asking, how can something be possible, versus telling yourself, oh, I don't have this and I can't do that. I really, really encourage you to replace the I can't with how can I. And
Yeah.
it has been a formula that has worked for 26 years for me, honestly.
Yeah, it is pretty impressive. Should we go back to talking about some of our deals? I think Adon has those photos for the Kingswood house.
Yeah, and I haven't been there now for a month and a half, so I've only seen the progress through pictures. But McKenna, it looks phenomenal.
Yeah,
Let's see if
it's.
we can
I
get
mean,
this
so
pictures
floors
up.
are in this week. Kitchens are in. We need to put countertops and paint the cabinets. But I'm meeting the stager there on Friday to try and get that house ready and get it on the market. And like we were saying earlier, we were expecting to sell it for 450, but just the market has continued to go up. And in Orlando, it's slow, but it's steady, where time on market has gone up, but the prices have also gone up,
Is that
not as
I think
rapidly as they
Adon's put a
were.
before picture up just now. No?
Oh, is it our nice hoarder house?
It was indeed a hoarder house. This house checked a whole lot of boxes. It was a hoarder house. It was an estate, and it was in foreclosure, and it was in a neighborhood where we had invested probably dozens of times. So it checked all kinds of boxes as something that was easy to figure out if it was a good deal or not.
Yeah. And it was a great price. Our buddy TJ, he found the house. I think he found this one just from door knocking, where he had a list of houses that were going to probate, I want to say, on this one. And he went to every one and was knocking on doors and meeting people. And that's how we got this house. And it's pretty exciting to get to partner with him too. You should get him on the Monday Night Live, Dad. He'd be a good guest.
I have invited him to come on, so maybe I'll get him on in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully he'll figure out how to pull some time away for us. Yeah. I mean, so a big thing for us that we're doing as the Flip Flop Flipper, not only do we invite partnerships through the YouTube channel, but I'm also partnering actively with you, McKenna, with Drew Schaffner, with Adon, with TJ. So I have a handful of people that are a little bit younger than me that have some energy that they can go out and find some deals. And then I'm at a stage in life where I'm able to find the money and put it together. And I really have been enjoying this season, especially with you, or you and TJ on this deal, where you guys really have managed this renovation. TJ found it. You guys have both sort of shared in the vision for the renovation. And I think you're hitting it out of the park. And I don't have a whole lot to do with it. Like I just pay for some shit and you guys take care of everything.
Yeah.
It's not the worst place to be in, right? And then to
No,
hear that something
it's a good
sold
goal.
for $500,000 when we were thinking 450, well, that's great, because we'll just do better than we thought.
Absolutely. The numbers just get better and better. Yeah, so this is the before photo on the house. You can see it. It took us 6 or 7 dumpsters to get all the trash out of this house. So it was a real project. And every single room was like this, where you you couldn't even walk because there was so much stuff. You had to climb over garbage, over items just to get from room to room. So it's pretty crazy what you can find. But this is what a deal looks like. You know, if you find a house that looks like this, it is not hard to empty it out. It just takes a little bit of manpower. You need a dumpster and you need a couple
Look
guys.
at this picture. My God.
Like you can do this in a day.
Yeah, you could. This took what, like you said, 6 or 7 dumpsters. Oh, the neighbors have kangaroos, guys.
And the neighbors have kangaroos. That was.
I haven't been able to meet these kangaroos, but I still want to do that before we sell the house.
Yeah.
We got to get those kangaroos on the YouTube channel.
They would be good. They would be good. That hot tub in the back there, I actually just had brought over to my house, so I'm now the proud owner of a porterhouse hot tub. But my weekend projects for the next few weeks is going to be repairing that thing and getting it out operating, and so that's another bonus to real estate investing. You get a lot of stuff. So
you guys, that picture that he just showed of that back porch, I want you guys to remember that, because we did a pretty cool deal with the ceilings in that porch. I think it came out really, really nice. So hopefully we have a picture of that as well. And this is now the front of the house.
Yep.
It's a good looking house, right? Like that's a really nice looking house at this point. 3 bedroom, 3 bath pool home.
And this is pre-floor installation. So at this moment, I don't know if Adon has a photo. I might not have sent the right one, but we have floors in the house now. We have a kitchen in the house. Bathrooms are installed and we just need to tile. So really there's, you know, a week worth of work left, and then there's going to be another week of punch list stuff. There's always, whenever you think you're going to be done, you're not going to be done. It's going to take you another week or two. So always keep that in mind, that you're never going to be quite finished with these houses.
As real estate investors, we say this, that, you know, the first 90%, like that's the first half. Then you've got the last 10% that takes quite a bit of time. And then you have that last 1% that takes another section of time. So if there's three sections of time to a renovation, it's the first 90%, it's that last 10%, and then it's that last 1% of the last 10%. Yeah. And that's your three areas of time that you got to allocate towards getting these renovations done. If you have more pictures, McKenna, we'll put them up, because I know we have the kitchen in there, and I know that the ceilings on that back porch, I think they came out really, really nice. So the floors, the kitchen, the ceilings. We have some questions. Oh, you guys asked some questions. If you guys have some questions, just shoot it. This is a question and answer session, and we will answer any questions you got about real estate, or, well, anything you ask us, we'll answer, but I'll probably give you a good answer if it's about investing in real estate.
I don't have pictures of the back porch, but I just sent Adon some more of the kitchen installed. And then something I wanted to say too about those sections of time. The most important section there too is that last 1%, where it's the attention to detail that gets these houses sold. Even though you've done so much, I mean, we've taken this house basically, you know, we've rebuilt the whole thing with new drywall, new electrical, new everything. But when people walk in, they're going to see the little details, the last 1% of stuff that just will make the house special. It'll make the house look finished. It'll make it look done professionally. And if you skip that part, you're going to have a real hard time selling it. Even though you've done, you know, great work for 99% of the house, you're just missing those details. And so I just want to emphasize how important that is to get that done.
Well, even with, like you said, you're going to meet the person who would stage the house, even going to that far, which we don't stage every house, but I think in this case, we've done such a nice renovation, to spend the extra couple $1,000 to stage the house is going to really help us sell this place.
Exactly. So here we've got a video of the kitchen. Those cabinets are actually going to get painted a sage green, which I'm excited about. I've been pushing that the whole time. Let me know if you think that's a crazy color, but if you look up on Pinterest, there's some really nice kitchens that are this green color. And
so how are we going to make these cabinets green, McKenna? What are they made of that you can paint the white green? It's not a...
Yep.
Is it a wood cabinet?
It's a wood cabinet, yeah.
Okay, so will be easy enough to paint, and the base cabinets will be green, and then we'll have a granite countertop on top of that. And the sink there should look out into that back porch and onto the pool. How close are we to having the backyard done?
Oh, we are getting quotes on the pool right now, and then the landscaping will only take a day or two, but we just have to get it done. I'm trying to push that as long as we can, just because you know how quickly stuff grows in the summer. I
Yeah.
want to do it just before we list it, so we have the yard looking good for as long as possible. Because if
I
you
think those
just,
floors look really good, don't they? Wow.
yeah, it's some pricing for some people. I'm sure you're wondering how much we're spending on this stuff, and I know we like to talk numbers on the channel, but that junk out of getting all of that trash out, I want to say was only $5,000 or $6,000. Does that sound right to you, Dad?
Yeah, I think I think he originally quoted us like 7, and we got it done for like $4,500
Yeah,
eventually.
so we saved a little bit of money there, and then the kitchen, the all-in materials and labor is costing us $12,000. The bathrooms are a little bit more. We're spending closer to $8,000 or $9,000 a bathroom, and there's 3 of them, but they're going to be really high-end, super nice tile. But those are pretty good prices for that same kitchen. We got quoted $20,000, and just by shopping around a little bit, we're getting the same exact kitchen for $8,000 cheaper. So it's pretty.
And that's a big kitchen too. Like that's not just a little 10 by something kitchen. That's a pretty large kitchen there. Oh, it went away.
Sorry, I'm driving through DeLand right now, so
We have a question, but I can't read it. Here it is. I'm going to be a lender for an investor for a real estate opportunity. It's a 3-month contract with a return of 10%. This is my first real estate investment. Is this a good return in that time frame? Patricia, is that Patricia? Patricia.
I think so.
Yeah.
Patricia.
If you're going to make 10% on your money in 3 months, yeah, that's pretty phenomenal. So that's over 3% per month. If you can make 1% a month, so 12% a year, you're doing pretty good, right? Like, so we talk about it on this channel a lot, that we are looking for deals that are going to throw off at least 12%, which is 1% a month. And really, once you get above that number, you're starting to do really good. We really think of, like, if you're doing a 20% return annually, that's a great deal. And so if you can do a 10% return in 3 months, that's a phenomenal deal. Now, if that's a 10% annual return, and you're only going to make your portion of it over 3 months, so about a 2.5% return, that's not a terrible return, but it's not a great return either. So hopefully that answers your question there. But if you're going to get 10%, if you put up $100,000 and in 3 months you're going to get back 110, that's an excellent return.
Yep. Yeah, and for people too, we borrow at around 10%. We'll typically pay a point or two up front, and then we're borrowing money at 10%. When we lend money, we're typically higher. In the state side, it's a little bit cheaper, where we can lend at 3 to 4 points, and then we're at 12%. In Puerto Rico, it's even tougher to get loans down there, and the cost of money is just so much higher. One thing that I'd say on your loan there, what kind of equity are they going to have in the property? You always want to make sure that people have cash in the deal. That way they're motivated to get their money back too, and to get you repaid. I would be cautious, especially on your first one with them, of giving them all of the money. So that's something to think about as well.
Yeah, and to your point, McKenna, hard money loans, or loans like she's doing here on the island of Puerto Rico, they command a higher rate because there's not a lot of choice. There's not a lot of people doing it. In the States, there's lots and lots of people that you can find that are doing hard money deals. In Puerto Rico, they're very few and far between. So, and I would say, Patricia, if you're wanting to do more of this kind of investment, we have opportunities to do that, and we partner with people. We do it, what we call hard money partnerships here on the island of Puerto Rico, and we do some hard money lending. McKenna does back in the States. So if you are interested in doing some of that with us, send me an email at theflipflopflipperpr@gmail.com, and we can get in touch with each other. McKenna can set up a conference call with you, and we can discuss things. So, guys, put your questions in there. We want to answer more questions. Do we have more questions, Adon? No. All right. And we'll go for another 10 or 15 minutes, guys. It's going to be a quick night. I have to be on another Discord call coming up, and I think at 6:15 I'm supposed to be on that call. So I'm
Okay.
happy to answer more questions and go for another 20 or 30 minutes or so before I've got to jump and run and go to another scheduled call.
Well,
So
should we talk about our Ocala deal then?
Yeah, Don has a question, and then we'll talk about the Ocala deal.
Perfect.
Do you find it's easier or difficult working with family in a family business?
Do I find that it's easier or more difficult working with family? Well, I have a really good family, and so working with McKenna is pretty easy. We just had my daughter here on the island of Puerto Rico doing some art for us, and I'm not at all artistic, but she is, and so working with her was great. I'm trying to push her into becoming a real estate investor. McKenna kind of took to it naturally. Elizabeth is going to come kicking and screaming because it's just in her DNA and there's not a damn thing she can do about it. But it is fun for me to work with family. Like surprisingly, I work really well with your mother, McKenna. Like,
Yeah.
who knew that was going to be a thing, for the first 15 years of my business, we didn't work together, and I didn't know that it would go as well as it has. But now I've been working with your mom now for 10 years, and it's awesome. So I like working with my family. I know other people have found that to be difficult, but for me, it's great. It's part of what we want to do together as a family. So yeah, it's worked out really, really well.
I like to think about, net worth and, assets and all of that is, I like to think of it in more than just a personal sense. Like you need to almost think about it in what is your family worth? What does your family have? How can you help each other build? Because it's just so much easier to do things together to build your assets, to build net worth together than it is if you're all doing your own thing separately. And you see that in a lot of good communities around the world. A lot of cultures are very tight knit with their families, and the whole family will rise and fall together. So I think that's, really important and something that we don't do a ton of in the States that, I think people could do more of and would see success in.
Yeah, I think something to add to that too is if you want to have something that looks like generational wealth, you'd better figure out a way to work with your family. Otherwise, what I do in this generation, I leave to the next generation, and then by the time McKenna leaves it to his kids, my grandkids, it's gone, right? So that is not what we want to have happen, and I'm prayerful that won't happen. And I think that in our case, we have a pretty good chance that it won't happen because we are working together and we're doing deals. So, but even though Elizabeth, your sister, doesn't love real estate, she's been around it enough, and she recognizes the terminology, and she knows how to manage a property, how to manage a renovation. Again, kicking and screaming, she's going to do it one way or another. But I think that enables us to start to think about what's going to happen generationally.
I do too. And another thing too is, like you were saying, the generational wealth, the inheritance. If I was not working with you guys and suddenly you passed away and I didn't know what you were doing and how these deals were working, there is no way I would understand what's happening that I could catch up and to figure out the intricacies of the business just on my own without doing it with you first. There's just so much going on, and maybe our filing systems could be better, but I think that's pretty good as well. But there's just the volume of deals that we're doing as a family. It'd be very difficult to just jump into one day and have no context for who owns what's doing what, who's supposed to be where. It just wouldn't work.
Yeah, and I think that happens to a lot of families, is that if you haven't taught the next generation what you're doing and how to do it, then when someone passes away, it just becomes a burden, right? Even if it's a business that's done really, really well and has cash flow, if you don't know how to run it, you're left with very few choices. Really, hopefully you can sell it and at least cash in, or in a lot of cases, you just see things crash and burn and die. Dad works his whole lifetime to build a business, and then when he passes away, no one knows how to run the business, and it just goes away. And that's a shame. So
Yeah, it really is.
So let's
So
talk about our deal that's coming up. We're going to close this Friday on another deal in Ocala, Florida, right?
yeah, in Ocala, and this was a quick one, guys. Where we talk about partnering with people. The best way to do that is to bring a deal, and that's what I did with my dad here. I went and found this deal in Ocala. It's a single family home that was built in 2002. Doesn't need a ton of work. It's just kind of ugly right now, but everything works. There's drawings on the walls and the floor's all torn up, but it's easy stuff to fix. Um, and we found that it's only been 7 or 8 days. We had to move quick because it was a wholesale deal. So, the same day we saw it, I drove out to Ocala. We got a contract on it, and now we're closing in 5 days. So these deals move quick. But I brought the deal to him. He was able to find some money for it, and then together we're doing it. I've already got the crews out there ready to go. So the day we close, we're going to start construction, and all we're doing is putting some floors in, painting the inside, painting the outside, and then we're going to try and sell it for just a little bit more. But what makes this deal exciting is we're getting a bonus lot. And I don't think that the sellers realized that they had a double lot. They just thought they had a big yard. But as I was driving out there, I called the county. They're very helpful. They connected me straight to the survey ladies. And they told me on the phone in 15 minutes while I was driving to the house, oh yeah, that's a splittable lot. We can do the paperwork right now if you want to, and it'll only take a couple weeks to have two separate lots. So we're going to end up selling this house, maybe making a little bit of money, maybe not, but we will end up with a free lot that I don't know what we're going to do with it. We've been talking about building on it, but where are you leaning on what to do with this lot, Dad?
Well, yeah, I'm leaning towards wanting to build on it just because I like to learn that new thing. And I'm looking at the neighborhood. I see that there are other properties that are being built, so we can see exactly whatever we build, what it's going to sell for. Like it's pretty easy to piggyback on someone else's blueprint for it. So plus I'm talking to the Arc Build people, and we may be able to do this prefabricated home on this lot, and that could be pretty cool. So I'm mostly interested in building it, but I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. And if somebody wants the lot more than we want it, we'll sell the lot. Right. But it's always fun to do something different. We haven't done a lot of ground up construction. And so I'd like to learn that business. I think that there's a need for it. So that's where I lean, but you can twist my arm and sell it and we make more money. It's fine.
Yeah. That's what we need to do the math on is it's probably worth $30,000. So if we build a new house, are we going to make more than $30,000, and how much more? And is it worth the time and the stress and the, getting it done? Because if we're only making $35,000 and we have to build a whole new house, that's a lot of risk you're taking on when you can just sell it and make 30. But we'll see.
And there's we've done a lot of deals where we end up going the hard way around and making the same money that we could have made early on. And we try and learn those lessons, right? Like those are things that you do want to run those calculations, guys, if you're just starting out. And sometimes you have an offer that's going to make you, like McKenna said, we could make $30,000 on this lot, and we decide that we don't because we think we're going to make $60,000, let's say, and we end up building the house, and then times change and you still only make $20,000 or $30,000. That sort of sucks. The only thing I would say about doing that where you build a new house is that we at least get to learn a new skill set. And if we go through the whole process, even if we made the same amount of money, but now we've got another feather in our cap, or we've got another arrow in the quiver where we know how to do that type of project moving forward, I think that's valuable as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
well, Adon, you have any more questions for us? Anything from the comments?
How many people are watching? 9 guys watching. Everybody give it a like, right?
Please.
And if you've got some questions for us, put them in the chat real quick. We are launching the Apex Mastermind, and we would love to have you guys fill out the form and set up a call with McKenna and see if you're a fit for the Apex Mastermind. The Apex Mastermind, guys, for sure, we're going to do real estate projects together. We're going to have complete access with each other. We're going to build a collective knowledge. We're going to share a database. So we're going to do some things in there where it's more intimate than it can be on a YouTube live or even on all of the YouTube stuff that we put out there. This
Sure.
does require a commitment though, guys, right? Like, so this is not just a show up and listen to Robbie Krager speak for an hour. This is show up ready to bring something of value to the group, a true Napoleon Hill style mastermind group where we're going to do more together than we can apart.
Yeah. And I've been telling everybody, what we'll do is we'll pull people up to the front, and we'll have prepared them. There'll be a little worksheet that they fill out to kind of just organize their thoughts of where they are on their project, what problems they're facing, and then they'll sit down and present it to the group. And you'll be there, obviously, to come up with ideas. But ideally, everyone in the group is participating. It's not just you hearing their problem and coming up with solutions. It's everyone in the group is brainstorming and thinking of things that they've done in the past that have worked and finding solutions, finding new perspectives on deals, and then we're all learning in that process.
Yeah, that's
because,
right.
there's only so many problems in the world. If whatever it is, if it's permits, if it's finding something, if it's your construction guys gone off to Mexico, there's
it wouldn't be hard for someone to come into the group that knows how to build a house and that has more knowledge on that than we do, right? Like, so
absolutely.
having never really gone through that process, except for maybe once, I wouldn't think that if we were talking about that I'm going to be the most knowledgeable guy in the room. So it's very likely that someone else will have been through that process, and that will be sort of part of the way that I'll see success. I don't expect or hope to be the guy who's just up in front of the room talking a lot. And I really expect everyone who comes in and is a part of this, that they're going to bring their own skill set and their own expertise. And we're going to use that. We're going to use that to do more stuff. Also, you don't know this, McKenna, but I've been talking to some key people about coming in and doing like guest appearances. So we're going to have some pretty cool entrepreneurs who are going to come in and tell their story and sort of bring some additional value to what's going to happen inside of Apex Mastermind. So I'm excited about it. I'm really, really excited about Apex Mastermind, maybe more than I should be, but I've been looking for a way to partner with people on the YouTube channel now for 3 years. And I think this is maybe the first time that we're going to really be able to share access, share databases and ideas, and form a core group that can do a whole lot of good together.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. Like I said earlier at the start of the podcast, is we want to have this group get deals done. Like, it's not a passive group. We're not sitting there talking. We're sitting there and we're acting. We're going and finding things to do, and we're making it happen.
That's right. That's right. Adon, you got?
I got one more question.
Don's got a question.
We'll end it after this.
Okay.
So I'm planning on reaching out to a potential foreclosure for an apartment.
Okay.
How would you guys approach the entry level? How would you tell them, hey, I see you're on the foreclosure. How do we get this deal done with you?
Yeah.
So
you want to answer that, McKenna? You've been doing this very recently, right?
Yeah. I was doing it with a tax deed list just a couple days ago or a week or two ago. First thing, it's a numbers game, Adon, where you almost have to expect that when you knock on the door, if you get their number online, which it's also very easy to do, guys. If you are reverse people searching, I use a site called True People Search. It's free. And it's been pretty accurate for me of getting me phone numbers just from names and addresses. And it's pretty manual. You can't do a list of 10,000 people, but if you have 100 people off of a foreclosure site, you certainly can get their info. But anyways, you have to expect them almost to say no. But if you do it 100 times, 50 times, you are going to get a couple people that don't want to fight the foreclosure anymore. They've been struggling with it, that keeping up at night, and they want to move, they have somewhere to go or whatever it is, and they just want out. That's when you can step in and say, hey, I see that you're in foreclosure here. What are you planning to do about it? Are you just going to let it go to the bank, or are you going to let it go to auction? I'd like to help you. I think that we can get you more value from the house, either by selling it for them, or depending if you want to wholesale it, or if you want to buy it yourself, you can say, I can buy it from you. I can stop the foreclosure process. I can make sure that you get paid first and foremost. And it's not going to be a foreclosure on your record. So you'll be able to get a mortgage in the future. So you're really offering a lot of value to them in this process. And
what
then
if it's not a bank? And it's
what kind of foreclosure is it?
It looks like it's other people foreclosing on them. So I don't know if when I read it, it looks like either they borrowed money against it, but the amount of money they borrowed makes no sense, because really the apartment's probably worth now in the 450s.
Yeah.
Seeing the other comparables, but they're getting sued for 1.8 million. So I'm just trying to figure out.
So maybe they collateralized it as part of a bigger package or something like that.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
There's other properties involved, and I'm just trying to pull that one out.
Yeah,
that's exciting though. I like it when I see those really wacky ones, right? So maybe you're going to find out that they own some other real estate, and they have bigger problems than just the one condominium.
Yeah.
So those are the special ones where we've really hit things out of the park, is when you can find these really oddball deal structures that people have. And there's no way they borrowed $1.8 million on a $400,000 condo. So I suspect that there's some other real estate that you don't know about yet. So that would be an exciting one to try and chase down.
Yeah, because when it reads like they really borrowed 90,000 from somewhere.
Okay.
But if that's what's getting pulled out, like I was figuring, like if I can offer them that same 90 or a little bit more on top, just try to or try to sell it to them and be like, hey, do you really want to give them this apartment? Don't you want to kind of send the fuck you to them and say, hey, I don't have it anymore? You know?
Absolutely. So. Yeah, and they'll get something to pay the loan back. Also, Adad, you should reach out to their lender. At 1.8 million, if it's not a bank, you can actually talk to them and say, hey, I want to buy this.
Buy the portion of that loan from them, perhaps.
Yeah. Be like,
the other thing that you could offer the person who you're talking to is, we've been successful. You can say, hey, my partners and I have been successful negotiating the release of assets inside of a larger pool. So I know you owe $1.8 million to this lender, but we might be able to go to them and get them to release this condo, pay you some money, give the lender some money, and then work out something in the middle for us, right? So that we make some money as well.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Solving people's problems, guys. That's what real estate investing is all about. I think we could end with this, but if anything, if you become a real estate investor, you become a problem solver. And the better the problem or the bigger the problem that you can solve, the more money that you're going to make. So I like it when I hear about complicated stuff like what Adon just said. That's not like just the everyday ordinary foreclosure sale. That's got some teeth to it. There's some stickiness to it, and there's some bigger problems in play than just a regular foreclosure. So those are the kinds of things that do excite me. I say all the time, bring me your really messed up stuff, because there's a lot of margin in solving the problems of the really messed up stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for having me on. This has been fun. And
and guys, don't forget to fill out the form for the Apex Mastermind. Set up a call with McKenna. We're launching in mid-June. We don't have the schedule exactly set up, but I think it's like June 14th. We're trying to do our first meeting. And once we have our core group and seats are filling up, we'll make sure we get on a good schedule that everybody can attend, because it is really important that as you join a mastermind, that it's something that you need to show up to. It's something that you need to bring your A game on.
Absolutely.
So it's an investment. It's an investment that's going to pay off, and we think it's going to get a really, really high return. So fill out that form, and McKenna will reach out to you. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for all the questions. We're going to do this again next week, Monday Night Live. We'll go live around between 5 and 6. I'll try and get better about posting when we're going to go so that I can give you a heads up. So thanks again. Give me that thumbs up on your way out. Thanks, McKenna, for sitting down and talking with us. All right.
Of course. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Have a good one.